What if I tell you that worry, anxiety and stress are all mind-created problems and it's within our own capacity to liberate us? There is one piece of advice that has already helped hundreds of thousands of people in their quest for inner peace and contentment. I'll introduce you to the potential solution for all your self-created suffering and overthinking. I'm talking about a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But wait, don't move on just yet. You don't have to read it. You'll understand the key ideas in a few minutes. I have also created timestamps so you can easily find what you're looking for. And skip to the good part. Okay, but let's get back to the book. The mind is the root of suffering. Tolle argues that our identification with our mind is the root of all our suffering. Our mind is constantly thinking about the past and the future, predicting, analyzing, assessing, and thereby creating and causing anxiety, stress, and depression. And as we all know, unfortunately, there's no simple switch where we can turn off our brain and silence our inner conversation. The preface of the book says, "The problem of humanity is deeply rooted in the mind itself, or rather, our misidentification with mind." Tolle encourages us to understand that we are not our minds, rather that the mind is a tool always available to us. However, if we are not mindful, we will be controlled by an infinite cycle of thoughts. The only thing we can do is to pay close attention to whatever is going on in our minds. Observe our thoughts. Number 2. Disidentification with mind. Logically speaking, once we accept that we are not our minds, we should necessarily aim to disidentify with it. The mind in itself is not dysfunctional. It's a wonderful tool. Dysfunction sets in when you seek yourself in it and mistake it for who you are. It then becomes the egoic mind and takes over your whole life. So essentially what he argues for is that the mind is a useful tool, but only when used correctly. Because in case we continue to believe that we are our minds, it will take control of us. We are then the tool of the mind, rather than the other way round. Number 3. Surrender to what is. Tolle emphasizes the importance of surrendering to the present moment, even or especially when it's painful. Accepting what is, rather than resisting it, can help us find inner peace and contentment. The harder the mind struggles to get rid of the pain, the greater the pain. The mind can never find the solution, nor can it afford to allow you to find the solution, because it is itself an intrinsic part of the problem. Again, the mind is part of the problem rather than the solution. Liberation of it can only happen through non-resistance and acceptance. Observing our emotions without judgment can help us to take the wind out of the mind's sails. Number 4. The present moment is all we have. Well, that's a quite simple but still powerful reminder. Dwelling in the past or constantly planning for the future can cause us to miss out on the richness of life in the present moment. But what am I doing here? Master Ugwe already said it more eloquently than I ever could.
You are too concerned with what was and what will be. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift.
And Tolle says, there was never a time when your life was not now, nor will there ever be. The past has already, and the future has yet to happen. There is always now. I mean literally, all the time. Your whole lifetime, it will always be now. Nothing else. That's probably one of the most simple yet profound insights the book offers you. 5. Presence is the key to freedom. Tolle emphasizes the importance of staying present and conscious to find peace and contentment. Stay present, stay conscious. Be the ever-alert guardian of your inner space. To put plainly, the book encourages readers to disidentify with their minds by staying present in the moment. We always tend to seek salvation in the future. Once I finish my education, once I get that first job, once I built that startup successfully, once I was launched into space in a rocket, or whatever achievement you're chasing behind. Once you have achieved that, Then and only then you will be happy, content and peaceful. But to be honest, it's a huge fallacy because we will never arrive there. We can and should not delay to be happy or satisfied. And we should always remind ourselves that true salvation is only found in the present moment and never in the future. So prioritize being satisfied with and in the present moment, and you will achieve your goals as well. But then you will be present enough to enjoy the results. Okay, so I think that's the main takeaways from the book, but I told you in the beginning that for me reading this book was a great challenge. The process of reading was at the same time eye-opening as it was deeply unsatisfying. I'll tell you why in a second. But if you have also read the book, I would love to hear what you think about it. Let me know in the comments, I'd highly appreciate it. Okay, so back to my problem. Tolle calls on the reader to not try to grasp the contents of the book with their rational and intellectual capacity. We should not analyze, classify, systematize, or structure the contents and ideas of the book. Because ultimately, as we already know, the mind as our tool for assessment and judgment is part of the problem rather than the solution. We can only understand what he's trying to tell us if we silence our mind and try to experience it. My educational background and Western thought in general taught me in the arts of thinking and shaping and expanding my rational capacities. So silencing my rational and instead understanding through experience is a somewhat alien concept to me. Don't accept nor reject what I'm telling you. Just try to experience it yourselves. That's what Tolle says, and he also doesn't aim to explain anything to us. He's only showing us the signs to understand for ourselves. I guess to sum up the problem, I'm a hyper-rational human being who is in his mind and head 99% of the time, and it was kind of difficult to wrap my head around the fact that I'm supposed to kind of understand what the book is about rather than just experiencing it. But I guess that's fundamentally the whole point of the book. So knowing what you know now, should you still read the book? Well, I would say if what I have told you so far has resonated with you on some level, I would highly encourage you to pick up the book for one simple reason. If you engage with it more deeply, the reading experience becomes kind of a mindful process in itself. It helps you to let the ideas sink and observe your mind patterns in the process. If you're interested in this kind of spiritual self-development books, I would highly recommend you to check out The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I made a brief video about it for you to get the main ideas in less than 10 minutes. I would love to see you there, and if you like this kind of videos, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel to always stay up to date with the latest non-fiction books.